Coming up with creative solutions to challenging problems is not something we can all do well. And now in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do this very efficiently and quickly and come up with very out of the box solutions using artificial intelligence. Let's get it going. Now, we all know that AI can create marketing content. Now, I know there's an argument that it's getting homogenous and like it's all kind of sounding the same, but there's so many other uses for AI, especially within real estate. One of the biggest ones is solving problems. And today, I'm going to show you how to solve complex problems simply with AI. And then it'll come up with solutions, give you percentages, it'll give you the whole breakdown. So then you can, as a human, can make the logical decision about which solution it's provided as an option to undertake. So let's get started. What we're going to do is go through 3 examples. First, we're going to start with brokerages for creating a new business model. How do they stay competitive in a market where there's all these new business models competing with the traditional brokerage, and how can they stay competitive? Number 2 is how do agents work and talk with owners that want to move but don't want to move because it's going to raise their interest rates. Like, how do you work with them? And then how do you use that pain point and motivation to get more ads or to get more leads through ads? And the third one we're going to use is in this time with low inventory. What else can agents, real estate professionals do in order to generate revenue, even if there's low inventory and low transaction volume? Okay, so let's start with the first one. Business model strategy. So the first thing I do is I come over to our platform, Likely.AI, and I go to our new chat. Now from here, I've written these prompts ahead of time, okay? So I am, and I'll make these available straight to the end. I'll give you a way to get all of these prompts, okay? Now, when we look at these prompts, what you're gonna see is that there actually is a very logical progression here, right? So when looking at the formula for the prompt, it's a role, context, task, guidance on what to say, and then the format. So we're basically saying you're going to be the biggest, the best problem solver. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit this one so that way we can talk while it's running, okay? So you literally copy and paste it, and I'll show you what part that you're going to want to modify. So boom, now it's running, right? I'm going to pull this back in and let us talk about what's actually in these prompts. So it's a role, context, task, guidance, and then the formula. Okay, and why is that important? The way that we lay it out matters because that's how ChatGPT and other AIs interpret the value of it. So we're saying they're the greatest problem solver. Then we state the problem in detail. Then we say the task is to solve the problem like this, and then we give them guidance on. We want you to do these things while solving the problem. And the final pink part is format. When it matters about how we want it to look when we get the solution, we add that in. And sometimes these two are kind of mixed together a little bit, which you see here. And so there's variations of exactly this prompt as we continue forward, okay? So now that it should be done, what we've asked it to do is come up with 3 solutions for this problem that are unique, creative, being the best problem solver in the world, okay? So the first one, and this one is for competing in the market, is embrace technology and innovation while maintaining the traditional values. It'll give you a summary, the components that they would need to actually start to implement it, and then a success probability and reasoning for that success probability, which is really important when you kind of start to break these down. Collaborate with venture capital-backed brokerages, 70% probability of success. And then the final one here is specialize in a niche market. Okay, so it's saying basically become a technology-driven brokerage. 80% probability of success. And then I've even asked it to write an elevator pitch for your leadership team So if you're the broker, how do you get your leadership team, if they're not already pushing you to do this, to buy in to do this, right?
Leadership team. In this rapidly evolving real estate market, we face a formidable challenge from venture capital-backed brokerages armed with significant financial muscle and tech-driven approaches. To retain our competitive edge and market share, we propose a balanced and innovative strategy that embraces technology while maintaining our traditional values. By implementing robust CRM systems, advanced data analytics tools, virtual reality and 3D imaging technologies, and establishing a strong online presence, we can enhance efficiency, provide a better customer experience, and adapt to the changing market landscape. This solution has an 80% success probability, as it addresses the challenges of technological disruption while retaining the trust and loyalty of our existing clients. By embracing technology while staying true to our core principles, we can navigate this transitional phase and remain viable and prosperous in a market where the sands of competition are constantly shifting.
There you go. So there's your pitch, right? Now, maybe there's a specific problem-solving framework that you want to use. So maybe in this case, we want to use something like the blue ocean strategy. Well, we would just adjust the prompt, and I want to show you this so that way you learn how to adjust it and when submitting these. So here's the same prompt, and all I've done is right in this one, I'm telling you how to solve it. I'm saying brainstorm 3 solutions using the blue ocean strategy for fixing this problem. Right, so you can add in so many different types of strategies based upon the type of problem you're looking to solve. It could be scenario planning, it can be competitive positioning matrix, it could be game theory. You could use a business model canvas. Maybe if you're doing something more in like general problem solving, you can use the 5 whys, or you could use the SWOT analysis. OKRs, if you're looking at kind of like traditional management. If your sales focus could be the AIDA or so there's so many different ways that you can inject that into the thinking to get different solutions. So let's see if that changed anything. Collaborative partnership model 75%. Hybrid brokerage business model 90%. And the niche market, so that came back, but that was at 80%. So it looks like by doing that, the hybrid business model actually beat the previous recommendation. So that's why I do recommend you do a couple of these till you find kind of like, use the different strategies until you figure out what will resonate for what you're trying to solve, okay? So let's move on to the next one. The next one we're going to do, like we talked about, is rising interest rates. And so this one's going to work with and talk to a seller that wants to move, but isn't sure if they want to move, they isn't sure if they can without raising their interest rates, because the interest rates in the current market are very likely to be much higher than what they were have in their existing home. So moving, same house, more expensive, they don't want to move. So how do you work in that framework to come up with a creative solution that could solve that for them? And then I've also asked it to write 3 Facebook ads using that position, that value proposition as a hook to get sellers to reach out to you. Go, man, this agent knows what he or she is talking about. If anyone's going to help me find a creative solution, they're the one. So it's a way to stand out from the crowd, right? So let's see what they say. Assumable mortgage, there you go. 70% probability. Rent-to-own agreement, 60%. Negotiate lower interest rates. No bank's going to do that. It's low probability of success, right? So the assignable mortgage is the highest. And so how do you pitch that to the owner of the property?
Are you struggling to sell your home due to the fear of higher monthly payments? We have a creative solution for you. By finding a buyer who is willing to assume your existing mortgage, we can help you sell your property without the burden of increased financial obligations. Let us take care of the details and facilitate your move to a new home within your desired budget. So it sounds like ChatGPT got those backwards. So that probably means that the Facebook ads are backwards from the value prop. But you can see how you can use that, right? We just rerun it, slightly reword it, and I bet we get it right. But then here are 3 Facebook ad copy that you can use, probably with a nice little graphic. We can tell it to give you a graphic idea as well if you want. But again, boom, solution 2. Now, how do you work with homeowners that want to move but are worried about the higher interest rate that they're going to be paying down the road? So in this case, I would say assumable mortgage, but you would find another seller that's willing to let
your owner be the buyer to assume their mortgage. I know that's a word sandwich there, salad sandwich or whatever you want to call it, but that's what it'd be. Okay, solution 3, moving through. Solution 3 is, now this is for agents, right? Agents that, the way I wrote this one is really focused, on the current market conditions and how to find ways to keep a good cash flow coming in, knowing that there's an inventory crisis, shortage, month over month it's down, year over year it's down, transaction volumes are down. So it's not going to have that, crazy amount of volume that you just walk out your door and you get a deal. So how do you continue to have a solid cash flow when you know that because of macro market factors like high interest rates, that you probably won't see a flood of inventory coming back on until that kind of equation changes, I guess is the right way to say that. So let's see what it recommends. Collaborate with local builders and developers to ease housing inventory. Okay, 75%. You kind of really know what you're doing there if you're, been a developer in the past. Diversify our services to include property management and rentals. That's a really good idea, right? Okay, real estate, so find ways to do property management and rentals if you can. Then target indicated in niche markets or demographics. So it looks like that's 70%. I think that's a pretty good one too, though. It looks like the winner, and here's your email pitch to your partner for why making the case for why you should change your business model of your team, of your organization, whatever the size it is, to diversify services to include property management and rentals. And then that could probably go 6 layers deeper into identifying, the largest landlords in the area, or maybe you're near a military facility, maybe you're off-site, maybe you're tied in with a corporation that you can do corporate housing management. There's a lot of different possibilities there. But now let's just take this one. I'm going to copy exactly what we asked, Likely ChatGPT integration, and I'm going to take it over to Bard just to see what its interpretation is. So you guys all know that there's been this proliferation of new models coming out, and it'll drive you crazy if you try to chase every single one or understand exactly the nuances, which one's better, which one's worse. The pace of change is tremendous, which is exciting, but it also poses challenges knowing which one to use for this type of program. Now, ChatGPT has probably established itself as the category king, and you've got Google, and sounds like Amazon's going to be making a push, and then Meta's got to play with Lambda, right? So there is. My advice would be we wouldn't go and try to use every single tool. Find one you like that you can work with. They're all getting much, much better. And as you can see right here, pivoting into marketing services, they're going to come up with similar conclusions for you, okay? It's not like one is crazy better. Some are. If you go into how good are they at medicine or law or some of those specific niches. But they're going to be similar on most things. Okay, so let's see what we came up with. Pivot into marketing services, challenges. It looked like it really broke down one. Up here's number 2. See, it got a little confused, right? It only gave one and then didn't really go into what the next one was. Partnering with local real estate agents. Okay, number 2. There it is. I was wrong. I don't know, 80% probability. And then when this happens, you just have to say, please continue. And it'll go forward and continue whatever the task was. So these also work if you want to use the free version or the paid version of ChatGPT directly if you already have it. I would obviously advise using Likely.AI because you never get locked out. If you're using the free version, you don't have to buy multiple tools, okay? So there you go. It get finished and did the rest of them. Each one usually has a little bit different formatting and whatnot. Now, I did have a little bonus here at the end. I know we're already at 13 minutes, and now I'm going to deviate a little bit because sometimes that's just what I do. And from the video that we did last week about, utilizing a property listing photo and then being able to show what it could look like with different, constructs. I wanted to look, the front of the house to look like a craftsman house and yada, yada. Something I didn't apply to that video is image weight. And why does that matter is because image weight can say, how much do I want you to take into account the original image, so the listing photo, and give me a rendition of something that's slightly different or very different, basically, think of it that way, from what that listing photo is. And that's simply, it's image weight. I know when you get technical, but not really. So I have some of the ones that we were working on last week. So here's and I really think that these look beautiful, but I don't really look like the property itself. And so the property itself is this image that's still in here, and that is the listing photo that we started with. So you can see that I brought the trees in and made it kind of in the country, feels Seattle-y, I guess. But let's have it do a remix of it and add in some weights, right? Nothing else changed. We're just going to put image weights in, right? So let's add in image weights, which is --IW. And standard image weight is 1, but you go 1 to 2. So 2 means that it's going to take exactly that photo. 1 means it's not going to. So I'm going to go with like 1.5 just to try to show you, maybe 1.75 to really kind of show you, see how much it brings back with just that, right? So now it's going to take more of what the original photo that we just looked at, this one right here, it's going to use a lot more of that than it did in that version that you see right here. So right now it's running. It'll be down here at the bottom, probably start to generate. And I did this earlier, I think it was yesterday or on Friday, but I did it with the kitchen picture that we were working with from last week. You can see that I put 1.5 on it. You can see how much more similar it looks like. More similar, that's a terrible word salad sandwich again. That takes it to like a nicer level, but it doesn't give you a whole new house. So hopefully we come up with something similar. So there you go. With 1.75, it used a lot more of what that original setting of that home looked like and gave you some variations on that. This one looks like the most varied, but these look like that could actually be there. So image weight is valuable in that regard, is if you want it to look very similar, but with whatever else you're saying. So we said modern craftsman exterior, elegant lines, warm color palette. It'll do that, but it won't like imagine a whole new house with that similar setting, right? So there you go. That's the wrap for the week, guys. Thank you very much for coming, and please comment in on this video. We just